I had a good foundation, and my dad was like in my corner, and kind of led the way with networking with other parents to figure out like that's how I met Jacob, and me and Jacob became so close, because we played together, and then we also worked out together like all fall, all winter. So we had these things in place for a long time, and was able to develop that way.
I'm feeling good. At least feeling great. Yeah. Okay.
You got it. You got it in you.
No.
Hey, but the craziest part is like I can't. I don't know if my beard can grow that long, but immediately when this went away, this came thick.
Yes, bro.
And I'm
Yes.
like, that's so backwards.
No, but your hair is like your beard is perfect too. So like,
I appreciate it, bro.
no, like
Hey,
so.
some got to give.
Yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying. Everybody when they see me like, yo, your beard's so dope. Yeah, because I don't have no hair no more. I hope so.
Right.
But that's because we rock the hats forever, bro. Like,
Our whole life.
yeah. I mean, that's an excuse. I don't know about your family, but my pops is bald. My uncle's
My
bald.
pops, my
Everybody,
pops bald as hell.
yeah, all of them are bald. All of them are bald, bro. Yo, so how's it going, bro? Talk to me. Talk to me. How you feeling?
It's going good, man. It was a heck of a first year as a scout. I was a coach last year, so it was like, getting the check off 2 boxes in 2 years is crazy on my resume.
Bro, that is insane. I was just talking to Jacob, and
Yeah.
like, obviously, I like to do as much digging as I can to make sure that I'm like ready for it. But like, the fact that like, yo, people die for the opportunity to be either or, and
Oh
like,
my
you
gosh.
did both in 2 years. Like,
It's unbelievable. It's like I I don't know what I did to deserve it, bro. Just working and just I mean, honestly, just I'm surprised at how many people that I actually know and remember me. Like I didn't believe in like the whole relationship thing. Not that I didn't believe in it, but like when that hits you in the face, you're like, this is literally about who you know. Like that's it. Like, bro, the amount of people that walked up to me and congratulated me, and I was like, dude, you just have no idea who you are to other people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
uh-huh.
and it just blew up from there, bro.
Dude, so
Unbelievable.
like being able to so when you talk about like the relationship thing, you talk about like even like from when you were in high school, you're talking about like
Oh my
all your
gosh,
life. You're saying like it's
dude,
all very
it's
important.
it's the most important thing. Like, obviously, education, what you do, your resume matters, but people just really don't understand the magnitude of who knows you, um, and how to carry yourself and how much you're actually being watched. Like, bro, some of these scouts, a lot of the scouts in Georgia, scouted me, coming out and stuff, and 6 or 7 of them called out my walk up song for my senior year of high school,
No way,
and I'm
bro.
like, yo, I don't even remember like what happened, what I ate last week, like,
Yeah.
and you're talking about my high school walk up song, like, but it's just goes to show you, like, people around you got to be good. Like my parents, like everybody's asking about my parents. Like if I didn't have that, or if I was like, left a bad impression or a bad taste in one of those guys' mouth, like there's no telling where I would be.
Yo, I'm so stoked to do this, bro, because we're going way back. We're gonna go all the
Oh
way
yeah,
out of here and all.
for
I'm
sure.
we're gonna do some digging, bro. Let's all right, bro. Let's start at the beginning, bro. Let's start at the
Yeah,
beginning. Let's hear about getting into baseball. Like who motivated you, who pushed you into it, or have you been doing it ever since you can remember? Like talk to
yeah,
me about the beginning, the beginning.
yeah. I honestly, bro, like I think I came out of the womb just ready to have a ball in my hand of
Man.
some sort. Like just, I was super competitive as a kid, super active. I was the only child. I am the only child.
Mhm.
Biologically, my parents end up taking in my best friend like down the road and everything. But for a long time, it was just me. So, and my parents just kept me active, like baseball to football to basketball, redo it. So um, it just grew. It just grew and grew and grew, and it became who we were. Like my family, like sacrificed so much for me. But baseball stuck. It was the easiest. I was the best at it. Like it was the easiest on like on my body, like just just I had played it the longest, and it always naturally was number one, and everything kind of like basketball and football kind of like bounced off of baseball or played off of baseball. So, um, but yeah, man, it was for the longest time I didn't have a plan B. Like people always ask me like, what do you want? What else you want to do? Nothing.
Nothing else.
Nothing with a straight face, man. So yeah, it was
Oh
always good.
man, do you think I know you obviously talk about playing football and basketball, but do you think like the influence of where you're from and like what magnitude baseball is like? Well, better question is, how big is baseball in Georgia? Like,
it's to say it's the hotbed is an understatement. Like it's been a staple in the youth baseball for so long. You have going all the way back to the Jason Haywards to even before those guys, like Kyle Davies, and all the way back to those days, Charlie Blackman. I mean, like dudes coming out of Georgia that just always created a pipeline. Like there was always a player to watch, always 2, 3 players to watch. And I think what makes Georgia special is the travel ball scene and the high school scene, the combination of two. So we don't really, you don't really get a break here. Like if you're a baller and you go to a big time high school, you don't get a break from seeing that 90 plus arm in the spring, to the summer ball. You don't get a break. Like so, we always believe that if you come out of Georgia, you can play anywhere. Like that's a true, real meaning. So
no, you're not lying,
that's
bro.
what I feel. It's a special place, bro.
Yeah, and it's funny because you brought it up. Georgia's one of the places where you could also kind of play year round, right? Like for the most part, yeah. There's a little bit of a winter, absolutely, I guess, but
yeah,
not really.
Yeah.
Like,
not really.
It's not
really. I mean, yeah, it's bipolar weather here, man. Like we could be on the field up until Christmas Eve here, or we could be shut down from Thanksgiving to January. It's just so different here. The weather's so crazy. It's kind of annoying. You got your allergy season for sure, but it could be that like the drop of a dime, you can be out on the field, long tossing on Christmas Day in the morning. So it's beautiful. It's a good thing to have for sure.
Yeah, and that's probably a reason too, because like for example in Florida, obviously the same thing. Like we like get into sports so young and at such an early age because we don't need to stop playing a sport. Like baseball's a summer sport, but like you could play it all the whole year. You don't have to go inside to the gym to play basketball, right?
Nope. Like again, like it's so competitive and at so early, like, and it's just so many environments you can choose. Like you can go on this side of town for this environment. You can go over here for this. And then at some point we all cross and it just becomes one big world of baseball or whoever sport you're in. Yeah. And then you kind of like me and you, like we face each other young, like
yeah, bro.
And then like ended up being in the same pro org. Like that is so common in Georgia. Like I came out with a bunch of guys, like 7 or 8 of us that kind of were on the same circuit of East Cobb our whole life. And we got to a point where like, this is so arrogant to say, but I don't mean it in an arrogant way. Like the draft became an expectation. It wasn't oh man, I hope I get drafted. It's a matter of like, I hope 2 or 3 of us end up in the same org. Like that's how we were talking. Like, and then like I'm older now, and I'm like, we actually thought and expected us to be on the same. Like what? Like it's crazy.
but that's also a testament, Terry, to like the fact that so many people did it before you as well. So like. How important do you think is seeing that pipeline? Like seeing, because a lot of people in the country don't have, like we had it too. We were blessed to have people in front of us getting drafted. It wasn't like if you're getting drafted or not. It was like, hey,
When?
how you're gonna get drafted, what team? Like you're just
Yeah,
like almost arrogant in a way, right? Like I think about it and it's like, dang, I didn't ever think the draft wasn't an option.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, like FTV, East Cobb, the Canes, like all that stuff is so big, and I think, man, like you said, like the pipeline in front of us, like that was so important to us, but it was important to us year to year to be the best East Cobb team. Like we wanted to be the best boys to come out of there first. Like the other
Yeah,
stuff was like when we get older, we'll worry about all that stuff. But like we wanted to be the coldest roster ever assembled there first,
period.
So like, but we still knew like we still had some big shoes to come behind, big shoes to fill. Um, and I think all of that just kind of played into the fraternity, like that fraternity feel, kind of like just that track and like, if you're an East Cobb Astro, don't mess this up. Like you got it, you're here. Like there's the finish line, the pipe and the path is already laid for you. Just do
Yeah.
it.
Just do what's on damn paper, bro. Just do it
Just
right
do
there.
it. You
You already know what to
just
do.
go this way.
Yeah. And like watch him do it. He's gonna do it. Watch. Now you do the same thing. You do that.
Exactly,
So,
bro. That's what it
what
is.
age did you start playing at East Cobb? Like what age?
I came over at 12. I came over at 12. I played for like a was considered probably like a fourth or fifth best team in the park. I got recruited by one of my dad's like childhood friends who had a team up there. It was the East Cobb Hurricanes, actually.
Oh,
We we were green and orange, just like
damn.
you. And then played for them, and here come the Astros calling it 13, and then from 13, 14, 15, 16, I was an Astro.
All right, but time out. Let's start at 13 because I heard a
Oh
piece
yeah.
about that 13-year-old Terry, bro. I heard about 13-year-old Terry, bro. Hold on, let's get a quick pause. Let's talk about 13. You was trying to jump the gun on me. Please explain to me.
Yeah.
Please explain to me because this might be a little insane, but like, was 13-year-old Terry really throwing 86 miles an hour?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
It was
Terry, please tell me that's a lie, bro. This man literally told me in Disney World you threw a perfect game hitting 86.
yeah, I did, man. It was I was just tall and skinny and athletic. Like 13 was when it all started to click athletically. Like all the way up until that point, like 9, 10, 11, 12, bro, I was big feet, big hands, just dangling. Yeah, just and it's like honestly, bro, like 13, it's like I woke up and it all clicked. Listen, bro, I'm not this is not a horn tooting session. Okay. I'm not tooting my whole horn. Willie, bro, I woke up when I was 13 years old, my first East Cobb tryout, like never ran a 60 before in my life. 6'9" as a 13-year-old. Like, yo, and I cannot make this up. Like, I surprised myself and I was like, what just happened? Like, I didn't know what to expect, like
I
I've been
remember, bro. That's
just,
like the age that you just run a 60 for the first time and you're like, I don't even know that this is,
yeah,
but like, let's try it out, see what's up.
yeah. And it's just, and from then it's like skills and body just kept kind of developing. But like, I never was, like, I'm gonna sound like a scout now. Like, I never was like the mature frame. Like, I was always just lanky, like I
Yeah.
just really started being able to hold weight and like I can't really get it off now at 27. But yeah, man, like I just had a live arm and it just clicked on the mound and I figured out how to control it just enough. And yeah, it was up around there. It was nuts.
Did you pitch all through high school though? Like, did you always?
No, I actually stopped like sophomore year because I just was a live arm. Like I had some like wrinkle slurve ball, like
You
just
were coming in. I bet you were coming in at the end of the game sometimes too to let that thing ride.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
like, yo, Terry.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. So it was 13-year-old year was fun. It was definitely like, okay, I might have a chance at this. you know?
Yo, bro, that is insane. So even before you got into high school, really, right? Like,
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm young for my class.
yep, yep, yep.
So I was a 13-year-old freshman.
Oh, gotcha,
You see
gotcha,
what I'm
gotcha.
saying? Like I was
When's your
turning
birthday?
14
When's your birthday?
September 29th.
Oh, shoot. Damn, bro, you were young, bro.
Yeah, so like I signed with Colorado at 17 and like didn't turn 18 until I got back home.
Till after the season.
Yeah, after the season, yeah.
Damn, bro, that means you didn't sign your own contract or your
My
parents had to
parents, everybody blew me up for that too. Like
bro, that's funny.
my dad gave me so much crap for that. He's like, bro, this is mine. Like, oh,
Yeah,
this is
that's
my
my
money.
money. It ain't yours, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't even go to the bank and get a card if you
I
wanted
know.
to, bro.
Hey, man, that was a crazy time. Well, I know. I'm sure you're gonna ask me about that.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. That's hilarious, man. All right, so you're
Yeah,
13
for
years
sure.
old, absolute phenom. Because it was funny earlier. You said it. You go, yeah, baseball was the easiest for me, but now I get it, bro. You're 13 throwing 86, bro. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
forget about the basketball or the damn football. We
yeah,
ain't
like
that crap.
yeah. It's just like I don't know, man. Like I performed well, but like I also picked up on things. Like like me and one of my best friends forever. Like his name's David Scott. Um, our dads were the coaches at 7 and 8, and bro, we were turning like double plays. Like it was like,
Like,
yeah, I was at third, he was at or short, or third or second. I would just go 5-4-3, or then like I would go to short, he would go to second, or we would flip. And it's just like things that you can't. I'm closer to the age of having kids now. Like all my buddies have kids, and like
mhm.
things that like you can't teach a kid, and like they just pick up on their own, like wanting to watch a game, or just like going out and wanting to hit on my own, like just little stuff like that. Um, Felt so normal for me in baseball, and like basketball, I didn't really like the practice, and I just wanted to go show up to the game, and football, whatever. But
Yeah.
baseball was just more the one that I was just like, okay, this is the one. This like tugged at my heart from like day one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go show out. Like, I love this. I love it.
Yeah,
I
like
love
I
it.
just love this. Yeah.
What kind of work ethic does 13-year-old Terry, 14-year-old Terry have? Like, were you in the cage grinding in the gym all the time, or was it just like were you only using your natural ability, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, my parents, I'm blessed and grateful to have both of them still in my life,
mhm,
and together in one household. And we again was a part of a nice community up at East Cobb that kind of everybody went to the same kind of trainer, everybody went to the same thing. So I had a lot of like speed training, and strength training fairly early, but it wasn't to the point where like I wasn't slamming weight around or doing anything wrong. It was exactly what I needed. It was like, speed, agility, coordination, and like just quick twitch stuff. So I had a good foundation, and my dad was like in my corner, and kind of led the way with networking with other parents to figure out, like, that's how I met Jacob, and me and Jacob became so close, because we played together, and then we also worked out together like all fall, all winter. So we had these things in place for a long time, and was able to develop that way.
dang, that's crazy. Because then that's now hitting back on like kind of what you were talking about is actually like having the actual blueprint like
Oh man,
out done like, and then you
just
meet a
show
kid
up and do it.
then you yeah, exactly. Like you meet a kid like Jacob that has a brother that's in the major leagues by that point, right? Like you know what it takes, and like you're so close to that,
No
right?
doubt. I've had so many examples, man. Like Jason was one, Jacob was one. Like I learned from Jacob, dude. Like that's like my brother forever. Like
Dude, he's a grown man. He's always been like grown, like a
just
kid of grown.
always different, always different. Learned so much from him, through our friendship. Um, Mike Cameron was another one. Dad Cameron, like I mean, just the ability and the resources that felt so close to me that didn't even really feel like a resource. Like a text or a call away has like, and it was so weird because like the reverse effect happened. Like I never even called on those guys. I just watched. Like you would think somebody having access would just like be in a cage with Jason or be in a cage with Mike. Like those guys just treated us like normal kids. Like we lived the normal side of things with those guys, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
And
wasn't
you
a big
just pick
deal.
like the baseball thing was like
Yeah, yeah.
second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It wasn't a big deal. There were just people like anybody else growing up. There's people in your neighborhood that you hang out with,
Exactly.
you see them around. Like you were just had some amazing influences
Unbelievable.
and people that you could. Can you talk about, bro? Because that the years that you were in high school, like playing against the type of talent as
Mhm.
well, right? Like the amount, like you kind of hit on. Everybody was talking about like, oh, hopefully we get drafted to the same team, right? Like, oh, you might get drafted in the first, second, I'll be in the third, fourth, whatever. Like
Mhm.
everybody's like, yo, we could possibly be on the same team. Like, talk to me about those players, bro. Talk to me about the players that you had that were just around your same age as well. You talk about the older guys, but like your age, like
Yeah.
what kind of year was, again, even before getting to actually, becoming an All-American, right? And playing on
Mhm.
in Wrigley and all those things. But like, how was it every day seeing that type of competition? Like, what was that? And like seeing, Meadows, Frazier, like Josh Hart, like all these guys, bro, like just in the same state, bro. You guys were
Yeah,
like
bro.
right here.
Yeah, I think it's you know what, it's crazy because I think a lot of people consider like probably year 2011 to probably 2015 of Georgia of like the like quote unquote one of the golden eras of baseball there because it was just dude after dude after like dude after dude. I mean, just guys that end up in the big league that weren't even starting like on travel ball teams, like just unbelievable stuff. But I think that definitely shaped our competitive edge, but it also helped me respect guys at a very early age. You know, like yeah, I was a good player at 13. You know, but like I'm around five other guys that were on the same track, and like we all always face each other in championship games, right? So it was always a respect thing coming up in our at our age and in our era of baseball. Um, it was like you got your East Cowboys over here, you got your Georgia Bandit boys over here with Travis Demeritte, Josh Hart.
Dang, bro.
You got even guys that went to college like David Mayo, Delano Spencer that end up playing basketball, like pro basketball, and then you go like you know even further. You mean you got like Cedric Mullins and like uh, before he came over, Randolph Gassaway, and we were just like Tony Hunter from Savannah. I mean, but like Eric Knox, Mitchell Webb. Like I could just give you,
Dogs after dogs after dogs after.
yeah. Like I mean, dudes that end up at SEC, ACC. Like it's mind blowing that we didn't really understand at the time because we were so locked in and just like kind of just had this innocence about us about like just roll the ball out and play. But we just happened to be at the hottest time, one of the most competitive times in competitive states ever. So it basically just gave us all a foundation of that shock factor of that most guys get, as you know, probably like stepping on a freshman year of campus of college. Like we just got that shock a little earlier than everybody, So it
Yeah.
just kind of lessened that blow moving forward throughout all of our careers.
Yeah. Did you used to go to like when you were in middle school? Did you used to go to like the high school games and be like, oh, I
Oh
can't wait to
man,
come here and play against this school? Like, what was like
listen,
your dream of competition, even
oof.
getting into high school?
Honestly, this is gonna sound crazy. It had nothing to do with baseball. My seventh grade year, I knew I was going to a different high school, ended up going to Westlake High School.
Uh-huh.
And my seventh grade year was Cam Newton's 12th grade year in high school. And I was going to that same high school.
Oh,
Hey, I'm telling you, I saw Cam play football. I was like, I gotta play here. Like, I gotta play here. I gotta be the quarterback. I have to do this. Like the environment right now is I get chill bumps. Like just think about that night of just watching Cam manhandle these kids. Like and that kind of was like, okay, I might football crept up a little bit. It was like started creeping up, and I was like, oof, like, but I was going to a good school to kind of do both, right? So, But the baseball part of it, like I never really saw like the older guys in high school, but like I did go up to the top fields at East Cobb and watch like Dwight Smith Jr., Andrew Toles, and Chavez Clark and Xavier Avery. Like this was one team, Delino DeShields, and we used to watch those guys like, oh my god, like oh my gosh, you know what I'm
Like,
saying?
it's insane.
Like we gotta get like it wasn't like it was a respect because like all right, these boys they got it, you know. And
Nice with it.
but we're also like we're next, you know. Like so there was that competitive respect of
Yeah.
like fill the shoes when they're gone to make sure we uphold the name and the because we don't you don't want to be the losing team at East Cobb. You
No,
don't
no,
want
no,
to be the
no,
losing
no.
team. You don't want to be the losing team at FTB. You don't want to be the losing team in Miami. Like you just don't want to be, you know. You know,
Not
so
at all, bro. Damn, dude, that's so cool, bro. That is so, so cool because having that, man, I think just makes such a huge impact.
oh, for
Such a
sure.
huge impact, man. Now, let's talk about high school baseball. Like, was that
Mhm.
a challenge for you at all when you got into high school? Like, competing at that level now compared to like being in middle school? And yeah, you were the guy, but like now you're playing against like juniors, seniors. How was that, bro?
Yeah, man, you know what? It was tough balancing the life part of everything because you know you going from high school, you're going to all day classes and where you don't necessarily have to be in class, like just a whole new environment. Like
Yeah,
coming from a private school. I'm gonna just tell you a quick horror story.
go ahead, bro. Tell me.
Coming from a private school, you know, like we had this day where you set up your lockers. You know, you come in kind of like a day before school. You bring your little magnets. You know, you bring your all that stuff. So Westlake is a public school, huge, predominantly black. You know, all demographics. So it's not like all black. I mean, all
Yeah,
broke
yeah,
or
yeah.
all poor. I mean, all rich, but it's a good mix. First day of school, I show up with my locker dividers, right? And I had been going to like summer workouts and football and stuff, right? So I knew some guys. I'm like setting up in my locker room, and one of my boys walked up and he was like, "Yo, we don't do that here. Like,
Yo, cut that out, G. Cut that
we
out.
don't do that. We don't do that here." So like that day, I was like, "Okay, do that in the trash. Like things got to change, you know." So I would say, and I was so young, bro. I was 13, so I was about to. I eventually turned 14, but
Yeah.
um, I would just say like balancing like the high school life part of it, and then the baseball. You know, the mix and the progression into the season was tough, but like I was physically gifted and physically mature enough. Like I wasn't like hitting them out of the park, but like I also didn't look 13 or 14 either. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to blend in, and kind of the game became the easier part of the day. Like I still had my struggles on the field, like just getting used to stuff. But the game, you know, was the most familiar part of my life at that point, you know?
Yeah. You had to walk a little harder with your chest out in class.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
hey,
like
listen.
space, bro. You was like,
Yeah, and I was like, I did well I did decent in class, so I was accepted into the math and science program, and like they had like a collar shirt and like basically a uniform, right? So my mom was like, "No, you gotta wear a uniform," because she was gone. She was the only one in town going to all the high school meetings while me and my dad were still during summer
finally.
baseball. So she was getting all the information like as best as she could. It was not, you know, it's not her fault or anything, but like she was like, "You gotta wear this uniform." So like I came home that after that first day, I'm like, we're not doing the uniform. My dad was like, "He ain't doing the uniform. Like we're
Yeah, yeah,
good.
yeah. You said,
Let's go." I just wanted to wear Nike sweats from there on out, and I was known as like a Nike kid from there on out, like just chilling. I wasn't, you know, the big jeans guy. Just give me the Nike and let me just hang out. That was
chill.
it.
Let me chill. Let me stay. Let me blend in here, bro. Don't put
Yeah,
no follow on in here. I ain't trying to.
exactly, exactly.
Oh, bro, I'm dying, dude. That's hilarious. That's awesome,
Yeah,
man. So what about college, bro? Obviously, we'll
Mhm.
get to that, but talk to me about like at least in Miami and like growing up, we had that same mentality, right? Like we're gonna get drafted, we're going into the draft, where are we gonna get picked, what's gonna happen? But committing to a school was pretty cool. Like
absolutely.
committing to a college was like the only thing I even thought about. Like I didn't even think about
Mhm.
actually going. Like, I
Yeah,
thought
no
about
doubt.
sitting there. And that was a cool thing to talk about. Like, when did that recruiting process start for you, and where did you want to go as compared to
Yeah.
where you committed and stuff like that? Like, can you talk to me about that process?
Yeah. I started getting the real college looking at 15, so sophomore year
Yeah.
of high school, which is fairly normal, around
Mm-hmm.
um, the East Cobb world.
Well,
And
normal
just
back then. Now it's like eighth grade, bro. Like, you would have
yeah,
committed. You would have committed
yeah,
ace in Disney World. You would have been.
yeah. Like these 2027 is committed. I'm like, God, it's crazy. But it was my sophomore year. I really started, the ball really started rolling on everything,
Mhm.
um, pro, college, all that stuff. So I could end up committing to Georgia Tech. Um, University of Florida is and was my dream school. I'm sorry, Hurricane. I'm
I mean,
sorry.
whatever, bro. I was never worried about them, bro. Tell
That
them I
was my
said that
dream
too.
school. Sully, and it was very interesting because I kind of learned that I had to do the emailing and the being the kind of aggressor to the college coaches, whether I was being recruited or not. So it's funny, like some of these computers, I still like some of my old computers, I can still see my college emails reaching out to like all these big time schools like University of Florida, Central Florida, like Miami. Um, I was just basically just returning the interest stuff that I got in the mail. Like I was just doing my part. Um, but I really didn't have a real understanding of like you basically go to school where you're from. Like in a nutshell, like unless you're just arm throwing 90 something plus at that time, like you pretty much went to Georgia or Georgia Tech or Georgia Southern or you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like the Florida boys stayed in Florida. It's not,
Uh-huh.
but now, like, it's not like it is now. Like, now these boys go wherever and they cross over state lines like it's nothing. So,
That's
um,
crazy.
but back then the state lines were more of the borders and boundaries for guys. So that kind of hurt my heart because I ended up going on a visit there. I went on a visit to Florida and I was like, oh, like, they are nasty. Like, I want to go here. And they were playing LSU and I think they beat the crap out of LSU. Like, and I was like, oh boy, like,
That
this
was
is it. But
Zanino, right? That's when Zanino was there.
Zanino, yep. Zanino
Oh,
was there. Oh boy, he was nasty. Tucker Simpson was there, pitcher. I mean, like just guys that I was like, ooh, like I want to be a part of this. Like, but it's
had you
still
already,
like, huh?
did you had already committed to Tech?
No, not yet, not yet,
Oh,
not yet.
right.
Yeah, I was fairly open. Like at this point, I was kind of just ranking schools. Like my mom's very like administrative and like she's like, let's organize, set a plan, set the trips, set the visits, like let's do it. So it came down to Florida State had to show some love. They showed some real nice love. That was the first like
Sorry
red
school,
carpet.
another sorry school, but whatever.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, that environment was like, oh boy, like put the name up on the jumbotron, and I was like, oh, this is great.
Oh,
So Florida State, Clemson, Georgia Tech was my last three. Um,
that's those three good options, honestly, bro.
those are
And
three good, and
Clemson's
they're
sick too,
different.
bro.
Yeah,
Clemson's sick in its own way,
Clemson's
right?
sick.
They're all completely three different schools.
Yeah, yeah.
How was
Clemson's
your
like
visit?
that's.
How was your visit to Clemson?
It was cool. It was chill. It was very like
Not Florida State.
late. It was laid back. No, it was not Florida State. Florida State was like, this is overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh. And then Clemson was like, they're kind of in their own bubble there. So,
Yeah.
they got a big fan. They're very loyal fan base, like a lot of regulars there that's been fans for like 20, 30 years and like, whole bloodlines come up there. So, that was a really cool environment. And then like Georgia Tech was like a blend of both, like it's in the middle of Atlanta, but it's still like a smaller kind of got a bubble feel about it and like a very loyal following, like no matter what, like they're Georgia Tech fans. So like it was a good blend of both. And then like, being in the city, kind of got that bigger access to a bigger environment like a Florida State. So it was a good fit for me, man. Like at that time, um, Brian Prince was the one that recruited me. He's no longer there, but I mean, he's still a great dude. Like they still speak so highly of him around there. So he was the one. He was the reason. Him and Danny Hall, man. Like Danny Hall's been there since. I mean, me and you were born. So,
Yeah, bro.
but yeah,
Dude, you know what's crazy about Georgia Tech, man? There was always something about that field and that place that like was so cool, man. Like
super
it's a
cool.
great place to play, man. Like
Super cool, like super cool surface. They've and Atlanta's so freaking packed now. Like the backdrop now is like all apartments and just like it's. I every time I go there to scout, I'm like, man, this place is. I love it. Like it's such a cool place to play.
I loved playing there, bro.
Yeah,
Loved.
yeah,
And it's a small field. There's a nice place
yeah. I
to
was about to
hit.
say you bam something out of there. I know you did for
Oh, I
sure.
got Brandon Gold, bro. Tell him I said it too.
Ooh, I will. I definitely will. Got him.
I got Goldie, bro. I got him.
Yes, sir.
No, bro, it was fun. It was fun playing there. But bro, so all right, you commit to Georgia Tech, and then obviously I don't know. I might be answering for you, but did you ever think you were gonna step on campus?
I didn't want to.
Honestly.
I didn't want to. Nah, it was it was it turned into more of a like of a bluff for the draft.
Yeah.
It was a ploy to get to get the most value I could get out of the draft. Because at that time you start to get hearing hey, he's going to Georgia Tech. We got to pay him to not go there.
Yeah.
So I had an advisor at that time, and he was like, "Yo, this is the best move if you want to, get the best out of your ability or best value you can out of the draft." So, but yeah, it was never. It was never.
It was never in play, bro.
Nah. I can't even we're way beyond those years now. I was never going.
Bro, that's so funny because like honestly speaking, like if you asked me the same question, I would have said the same thing. Like I was never going to Miami. Like that was never a thing. It was just I bluffed so hard I actually ended up there.
No, bro, you could bang, bro. Like I don't know if we'll get into you or any credit.
No.
Hey, but hey, boy, you hit the ball so hard all the time.
But bro, so all right, now we're getting into. Let's talk about like your senior year. Let's talk about like the senior year of baseball. Like, were you excited? Were you nervous? Like, what was the feeling? Because the reason I asked this, right, and I'll give you some context. Like, everybody else going into their senior year, like any regular kid, even athlete, right? Like, talk about a football player, they're getting ready for college, like all these things. But like, you're talking about having an advisor, agent, like talking money, talking hundreds and millions of dollars, like at in your case, 17, like how did you feel going into your senior season?
Yeah, it was insane. Because going into my senior year was all the perfect game, all American games, and so you're starting to be around those guys. I was fortunate and blessed to be chosen to be Under Armour All American, and got that experience in Chicago. But outside of the treatment and stuff, like you're with dudes, you're with absolute dudes from all over the country. So you're able to.
Not to mention half the guys that got drafted in the first round from Georgia as well, right? Like
it's unbelievable. Like and then again, like the East Cobb stuff like helps me so much because I've at least played against 4 of these dudes in some national tournament. 3 of us are from Georgia, so it was always a plus to be on that higher stage, and I'm sure we'll get into Under Armour later, but to add even more of a challenge to my senior year after all that stuff, I chose to transfer my senior year. So I tried to leave Westlake my junior year, just didn't really feel like baseball was being treated as a number one sport. I mean, at that time, I told you Cam Newton was there, so football, basketball, track were like the big 3 at Westlake, and baseball was kind of like we'll get to you type mentality. So once the draft stuff solidified and it became okay, not if but when type situation, my parents finally okay, let's make the move my senior year. So going into senior year was answer the bell, and you're at a new school. So for a year. So and I was blessed to be have like a lot of familiar faces around there already from the baseball world. So going into that year, man, it was fun. I was walking the straight and narrow at that new school because I could smell it. I could taste that draft. I could taste, the next level. So it was just, do your work. Don't be on anybody's nerves. Don't get anybody's trouble. Don't give anybody any reason to, tear your name down, or because I didn't know to the level a scout would scout me. Like we kind of heard horror stories, like you know how parents do. Like you don't want
Oh
your math teacher to, blow you up and say like,
yeah,
oh, he can't. So everybody was. I tried to stay cool even with everybody in the drama. So it was a fun time, man. Like I would I would uh I would pay a crazy amount of money to go back to that senior
and just
year.
do it one more time. Do it one more
One more
time.
time. One more time.
So I know you hit on it. I've hit on it, but like, let's talk about the All American game, bro.
Hmm.
Because like I don't. I mean, it's obviously still a big thing now. Like I don't,
Hmm.
Under Armour still has their game,
It's
right?
going on today, actually.
No way, really.
Yeah, today or tomorrow. Yeah.
Wow. So like, talk about how special that was, and like getting that call, understanding that you were literally one of the top, whatever, 40, 50 guys in the country, right? Like, how did that feel for you? And like, walk me through that experience.
Yeah. So I actually was chosen out of Westlake. So the place that had baseball being the last of the last sports. It was a combination of there and East Cobb.
Mhm.
So I ended up getting contacted by a guy. His name's leaving me now, but Dave Lax. Dave Lax was
Oh,
a
I
guy
remember
that
Dave Lax, bro.
they remember Dave Lax.
Yes.
Yeah, bro. It was him and another guy. I can't remember the name. But I can still call Dave Lax to this day. It's unbelievable. But
Wow.
they called me, and I was like, "What?" I got the mail, and we were just like, "Who even saw me?" Like, never shook hands with anybody. Like, and didn't know what to expect. Like, wanted to get perfect game, but like didn't go to the PG National thing. Um, and then got the Under Armour instead. It was like, what is happening? So here comes all the travel arrangements. Here comes everything, and I'm like, this is how this is. Like, this is how this goes, bro. And we get down to Chicago. We get up to Chicago, and it's just like still to this day, I have not been treated better in baseball. Like
Wow.
red carpet, just custom fitting uniforms, tailored pants, and parents staying in the hotel, W hotel, like, and I'm with some absolute dogs on the field, like,
Tell me about your
and
team, bro. Who was on your team, bro? Hit me with that.
oh my god, my roommate was Corey Ray, uh,
Oh, sorry. Right. Yeah, he sucked.
dog, uh, J.P. Crawford, Dom Smith, um, Justin Williams,
Oh man,
uh, Trey Ball,
another
uh,
bug.
Clint
Basketball too,
Austin,
right?
yeah.
Didn't
Oh my gosh. Matt McPherson, Ivan
Woo.
Wilson, Jan Hernandez, like Nick
Yarn,
Sufo,
bro.
like we were
Shoot.
like, yeah, Billy McKinney, like Casey Clemens. Like
AC.
I was just walking around. Here's a quick story about Onion Under Armour. So we have like a welcoming dinner for the players, and it's like an all player event, no parents or anything.
Mhm.
And they kind of asked us to stand up and introduce ourselves, tell where you're from, whatever, and give a player comp. Two stories. First one is J.P. Crawford stands up. J.P. Crawford, California. Derek Jeter's my player comp, and the whole room was like, "What?" Like like Derek Jeter, and then like at that time, Jeter was walking on water, like
Yeah, of course.
still is. I mean, but
Yeah.
and we saw him play, and we were like, "Oh, that's why he's saying Derek Jeter." Like,
He might be
yeah,
a little better than
he
Jeter.
might be. And we were like, "Ooh!" So that was the first voice. That's like how he just blew the room away, saying Derek Jeter. And then the second story was they're reading out lineups, and I'm in the back, like I'm just like happy to be there.
Yeah.
Bro, they call out my name and they call out my team name, and I am leading off the game. And
You're like, oh
I
shoot.
promise you, it was 2 or 3. Who? It's like 2 or 3 of those in the room. Like, and, and I was like, yeah, I'm here. Like, I'm here.
I'm right here. I'm right here,
Yeah,
man.
I was just like, oh, like, so I got to leave that game off.
Damn, bro, that's sick. I remember
It was
watching it. I was in California. I was supposed to be there, bro, but
um,
I was playing with the USA team. So a few guys like Oki wasn't there. There's
yeah,
a few guys that weren't there because we were. It was literally at the same time as like our
yeah, it
trial.
was.
But dude, I remember watching that game and being like, damn, bro, like that's so sick. Like perfect
Yeah,
game was sick too, but like there's something about the Under Armour game, like
yeah.
it was just like, damn, bro, I wanted to be there so
It's
bad,
unbelievable.
bro.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
I got my
that's
jersey. Still got my jersey over here framed, man. It was unbelievable.
woo! That's
I see
so
yours back
sick.
there too.
Uh, I stole that from spring training, bro. Don't play. Come on, bro. I ain't fooling nobody, bro. The receipts are online, bro. That's a spring training jersey. That boy
No
slick
doubt.
it up, bro.
No doubt.
Oh man. No, but damn, that's so sick. All right, now let's get to the draft, bro. Let's get to the draft because you've already solidified yourself as somebody that's obviously going to be picked in the draft. Like, what did you expect? How did it go? Like, walk me
Yeah.
through the draft process.
Yeah. I was expecting honestly like a range of everything. Well, I don't know how that works. It was a range. I was told a range of things to expect. And I had no draft experience, obviously.
Yeah.
Like the Cubs, I think the Cubs were like the highest on me. At a pre-draft workout, the Cubs had me do everything from I was an outfielder.
Mhm.
I took fly balls, and then the scouting director at that time came up and asked me like, "You ever taking ground balls at second base?" And I'm like, "Yeah, not since I was 7 years old." Like I took one ground ball, they were like, "Yeah, go back to outfield." Like
Yeah.
go back to outfield. Cubs, I heard like rounds 3 to 5 from the
Mhm.
Cubs, and I think it was Cubs, Blue Jays, and a little bit of Colorado. So like Colorado was like I knew Demont very well. Had met him as a youngster at another event, and it was kind of scary to say now. Like back then, I had been like 14 or 15. Hit a ball off the wall at something like Marquise Grissom baseball event, and he was there. Demont was there, and the area scout was there at that time too. Shook my hand after the event and told him like, "We're gonna draft you one day." Thank you.
No way, Demont, bro.
Yeah, he told me that. He told me he was like, "We're gonna draft you. Like, we're going to draft you." Because at that time it was like Dexter Fowler was going nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
Like all those guys are going crazy. So I kind of look like I was like from the same area, like tall, skinny outfielder, like moving around well. So then the draft came, um, and like everything kind of changed. I found this out after. So they started taking like college guys earlier. Like college arms was like the hottest thing at that point, but they were paying them less money. So naturally, everybody started to slide. Obviously, the first round guys were going to be the first round guys, but those early second day, third day guys started to shift. Um, so I started kind of sliding. I'm like, oh boy, like at that time, like Georgia Tech was gone at this point. Like this drafting, like it's drafting,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
just draft. So sixth came around, seventh came around, eighth round came around. Colorado called and they took me, but man, there's a roller coaster of emotions. Um, happy, mostly happy. Didn't really care about why I slid at that point. You just know you got the call. Um, and I'm sitting next to Randolph, my best friend slash brother. Him and his mom are there. He's waiting on his call. So like, it's just a high pressure environment. I had to shoot upstairs to talk about the minor details and everything, and then kind of go back and be supportive for him. So it was like up, down. Like let's get him a call. Like
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
go, like let's do this. So I don't wish those nerves on my worst enemy though. Like man, because you just don't know. Like you don't know all the interviews that you've had, all the house visits you've had, all the questionnaires you filled out, all the pre drafts. You don't know if they heard you say a cuss word wrong. Like you don't know if
Yep.
anybody judged anything up to this point, and you just don't know where you're gonna end up. Nuts.
Dude, the pressure of such a kid at such a young age, right? And another
Yeah.
thing that I heard there too is like you're not one of those like at that point, right? You're not one of those like, for example, like a Clint Frazier, Austin Meadows, like Dom Smith, right? Like we knew those guys were gonna get picked in the
Yeah.
like those guys were getting picked like as soon as like
Yeah.
they might
Yeah.
have had a different type of mentality that day. It's like, yo, who's gonna pick me? Like, how many millions am I getting? But like when you're
For
one of those
sure.
bubble guys that you don't know where you're gonna get drafted, like the pressure has to be so much more, right? Like,
Oh man. Oh man. I don't think honestly, Will, like I don't think up until Jupiter, which is like the tournament that fall before, um, I don't think I was getting drafted at all. Like I went to Jupiter and went ballistic. Like got on a team with Austin for Clinton Austin, that team elite, left East Cobb, which was a tough, decision. Got in the outfield with those guys and started working with the hitting coach there, who happened to be the owner of Team Elite now. And he got me right before Jupiter, bro. And I promise you, I'll never like forget this. I went 10 for 14 in Jupiter. Like
wow.
that basically got me drafted. Yeah. So really it was a combination of all that. I'll say that Jupiter story to say like you don't know if you did enough there. I don't know if I know I had gotten the accolades of the perfect game and the or whatever, the Under Armour stuff. But like all that stuff kind of like doesn't matter that day, like in a weird way. Like it is a body of work, but it's like, do they even care about that? Like do these scouts even care? Like so it was a whirlwind, bro.
Ah, that's nuts, man. It is, dude. I don't remember sleeping, bro. I don't know about you, but like
It was
I
nuts.
like, bro, my heart was beating through my chest.
Yeah, yeah. So you were a little older than me too. Like you
Yeah.
you kind of had some season and kind of understanding about it with like going to college and stuff, like seeing guys get drafted. Bro, it was go to sleep a high school senior, wake up on draft day. Like
No. I'm talking about no. Of course, in college is way easier. I'm talking about my high school
oh
draft experience.
high
Like the
school,
same.
yeah, yes, bro.
I
Like it's
was dying.
unbelievable.
Yeah. No, in
Yeah,
college I was like,
it's
bro, draft me if you want, draft me. I don't care, bro. I'm ready to play wherever, bro. Like that's
yeah,
fine.
exactly,
Yeah. But
exactly.
all right, so talk to me about actually signing first experience, bro. Like talk to me about pro ball, bro. Getting there and actually putting that jersey on and doing it for
Yeah.
real.
Well, I don't know how or why this happened, but I was an eighth rounder, and they flew me to Coors Field, and I signed a course. So I don't know
Sheesh.
what, I don't know how that happened.
Who else was
So
there
that
with
was
you?
my
Who signed that year?
Dom Nunez, Jordan Patterson, or us three were
Oh,
together. Yeah, that's my
dang,
that's my
Dom
boys
too.
right there.
Dom was a what round did Dom get drafted in?
Six.
Six. Oh yeah, they overpaid that
Yeah,
homie.
yes, sir. He got broken
Got
off.
the
Son,
bag, bro.
bro. Yeah, he touched the big league, so I mean, it paid off.
Yeah,
Um,
no doubt.
but that treatment and that environment was super cool. I had just missed the big league team, so I think I would have like been able to hit BP with them and everything, but they had just like taken off for an away trip. But just that environment, man, that experience was something I'll never forget. But then like going to AZ, obviously the other side of the country for me was very interesting. Different lifestyle, different way of life out there. A lot less green than I'm used to. No water.
No,
But I quickly adjusted. But I just that was before spring training. So Colorado didn't have an ACL team when I was coming up.
mhm.
So it was straight to Grand Junction, Colorado, actually. So I went, first, experience was of minor league ball was in a season. It was not any complex ball. It was like hit the ground running, play in a season. So that was insane.
Dude, that's crazy, bro. And you're 18 now. To think about it, damn, like
No, bro, still 17.
Oh, 17. Sorry, I'm saying yeah,
Yeah,
13 years old. Like you're playing with the dudes already. Like these are
grown
also
men.
first rounders from college too. Like
Oh man, like I was there with like Ramiro Tapia was there with me. Tappy was there. You know him. He's a
yep.
nut. Uh, who was the first pick that year was Jonathan Gray. He went third overall. So I'm like,
Damn.
we're on the same team. Like he's like 22. I'm like 17. Like where
Shoot,
am I right
bro.
now?
That is insane, bro. That's insane. Now that
Yeah.
think about it, that the Rockies never did have a like a AZL team.
No,
Like
they
so,
got two. They had two short seasons.
yeah, 2 short seasons. But still, even
Mhm.
then, bro. Like, I mean, I get it, bro. Short season's not, you know, A ball, double A, whatever. But you're still playing in a season. Like,
Oh, that means something.
yeah, it means something, bro. You're in there deep.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're not just touching the ground, like just getting like developmental at bats. Like no, we're trying to win this league.
yeah, ASAP, like right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
bro, if you were to tell me like what, how did, give me like an overall like give me how was your professional baseball experience as a player? Like, give me your like
Mhm.
hot takes, good takes, bad takes. Like, what do you see could have gone different? You would have
Mhm.
liked to go different, maybe the way that people were or teams or like what did you see and what would you have changed now looking
Yeah.
back?
Um, I'll start with the org part first. I think knowing what I know now, surviving and succeeding in the minor leagues starts with the organizational fit. Um, and I think I preach that to a lot of players now. See what kind of players people draft. See the type of DNA, what type of motor, what type of style of play they like, because it could very well not be a fit. And I think I experienced a little bit of that. I think that I was more of the kind of laid back, let the game kind of come to me, smooth kind of mover, easygoing kid. And I think that they kind of wanted, at times, they wanted me to be a little bit more in your face, rah rah, kind of like that grinder kind of player. And I think it kind of came off as like I didn't really care that much. And I just, the ones that were close to me knew that that wasn't the case. But the higher ups or like somebody that came and saw me one or two times, in like a superior position would think like, you got a low motor or whatever. I just was a quiet dude, to myself, and love to be there, love to be around the dudes, love to be around the guys, and just play. I didn't really. It was too much of an emotional roller coaster, and I didn't want to get too high or too low. Like I just, since a kid, man, like I just always bought into like not being too high or too low. And when somebody saw me, just chilling and vibing out, like that rubs some people the wrong way. So I think there was a split kind of outlook on me and my kind of like my makeup, so to speak, or like does he really want to do this, or is he just happy to be a pro? That's just being transparent. Like that's just what I was told. After the fact that obviously I got older, so. Um, but I think like if I were to say one thing went wrong, or if I would change, I would just change and do the little things, or like that one or two extra move or extra things to make those guys know that I want to be there. Instead of just trying to prove it in the game or just prove it in the action. There's another part of baseball that you have to have, um, to to succeed. And I think like that's the biggest thing that it's not even really a regret because I'm just wired that way. Um, but it's just mostly that narrative is the one that like kind of needles me a little bit because that was never the case.
Man, it's crazy, crazy, crazy that you say that, bro, because like you see it so much, bro. Like people talk about like it's just a little thing, right? Like if somebody like wants to pick your game apart, they will. But
Hmm.
like what's the difference between, do you let them change you from being who you are and why you have been successful up to that point?
No doubt.
Or do you just like, let's say it's like, hey, you wear your hat like this. I want you to wear it like this. So like, but you're like, yeah, but I've been wearing it, and it's not a big deal, like,
It's not a big
but
deal.
some little thing, and it's like, yeah, but it's like a business move in a sense, right?
No
Like,
doubt.
oh, if those are the guys that are gonna pay me and get me to the big leagues, like, I'll move my hat a little bit,
Exactly.
but like it's so tough though, right? Because now looking at it is like, yeah, but I wore
Yeah,
my hat like this, and that's what made me get here.
for sure.
Isn't that a tough thing to think about? Like,
Yeah, no doubt. And I think me personally, what I would have done better is I didn't dive deep enough into my body to know what I should have been doing on the physical side. Like we all lifted, we all hit, we all um, we were all in the right places working hard, but like I didn't take that extra step to figure out what worked for my body. Right. So like I was drafted as a center fielder and I think there was like probably another split decision on whether I was going to be able to stay there or not with my run tool and how where my body was going to do mature wise physically. So I got home and lifted in ways that proved the people that didn't think I could play center field right. So like I started lifting like a freaking NFL safety
animal
instead of a light lean
wide
functioning
receiver.
moving type
Yeah,
athlete. Yeah, so but you couldn't tell me I wasn't working hard. Like I was working. I was working my butt off like 6 days or 5 days a week,
yeah.
throwing, hitting, and everything. But like I didn't take that extra step, like and again, like it seems like not that long ago, but like what these players have access to now with the bodies and that type of stuff, like it's a different world. So I will credit a little bit to like just lack of like the like lack of knowledge and stuff and just lack of access. But I also didn't bother to dive into that access. So I
Yeah,
would
I
say
get
like
you.
those two things are the biggest things that could have gone differently. But overall, man, like I had some the best, funniest, deepest laughs, met some of the greatest people, like saw some places that I would never see travel to if I didn't play baseball. Play for some unbelievable people that have set me up, to be where I'm at right now.
Damn, bro, that's so sick, man. That's so sick. That is, it's
Even
dope,
playing
bro.
with you, bro.
I know, bro. No, but it's cool to hear these stories, man, because like when you're in it, you don't realize like the things that you're going through, but like now being able to sit and look back and be like, man, and like you have the maturity to be able to go like, yeah, man, there's some things maybe I could have done different, but damn, like the ride was still so great, right? Like
Oh,
the ride was still so cool, right?
unbelievable, man. Like being able to do what I did 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old is like some people don't even some people don't make high school teams. And like as I've gotten older, like my sensitivity to that and like my gratitude has just like doubled and tripled, bro. Like because, I just see kids and I'm able to be around kids that are fortunate enough to be scouted and athletically gifted. But like for every kid I see like that, I see a kid that's like just happy to just like be able to like make a catch or like put a ball and play, like and I just kind of always put myself in that situation and be like, man, like I did all this stuff with just like an expectation instead of really like being thankful and grateful for my like abilities, bro, that I was like given.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we were blessed, bro. Like
It's
we
different.
were, yeah, man. We were blessed with something a little different, bro. We
For sure. I
got
didn't
there.
want to be too deep, but like that's just where I'm at right now. Like, damn, like you, me, Jacob, like all of our buddies that we know, like we didn't even think about not making a team. Like, what is that? Like, what? And now, like, I'm getting calls from somebody or like a dad that I know may not be happy with a player situation or a team situation, and I'm like, I got nothing for you. Like, I can't. I'm whatever I tell you, I'm a lie because like I
Yeah.
I don't have an answer. So But yeah, man,
Yeah.
that's just
Like
everything.
I even remember being like a freshman and getting into high school and like the little things like even that we talked about like I wasn't changing a school like to hide from a competition or like no bro like I wanted to get the biggest guy, the baddest dude, like I want to be next to that dude like right
We're
now,
going at them.
like I'm going at that homie, like I'm going at his throat,
Yeah,
like I wasn't scared of nobody, like but in
yeah,
a sense that's a little bit of ignorance, right? Like we
yeah,
that also made us so like talented because we
for
were
sure.
crazy enough to
Then
do
we
that.
knew nothing else.
Yeah, man, and that's a blessing, right? That's a blessing because other people don't have that. Like,
Nope.
you
No,
know,
so that was my pro ball, man. That was my pro ball life. I still got some boys from it. Got some buddies in the big leagues that that broke through, and they leave me tickets, and it's
oh,
always good.
yeah, bro, it's the best. It's the best. All right, bro. Do you have like 10, 15 more minutes, bro? You're
Oh
good.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
all
yeah.
right, cool. Because I wanted to. I know I've been an hour and I could talk forever, so my bad,
No,
dog.
you good. You good, though.
So tell me about now. Put like putting the baseball bat down. Like tell me
Hmm.
about how hard that transition was for you, like emotionally, mentally. Like I don't care if you get deep. Let's get deep. Like let's. How did you feel? How hard was it for you to do that?
Yeah. I had a tough time initially, but it was very conflicted because I was okay with being done, but I didn't know what was next. So it was like a split kind of feel, and that kind of sent me into some anxiety. Um, broke down a couple times, just like cried to my parents and didn't know what was next in my life. Um, and just knew that I wanted to be in the game, but didn't know to what capacity or in what capacity. Didn't really know, honestly, bro, like who I was without the game. And still doing work and like as an older person, as an older adult now, understanding um, that you can't attach to that. Like you can't attach to baseball. You can't attach to anything. It's got to be what you do and not who you are. So I think that, but it's just it was my life for so long that like it's kind of justified in that way because like you got one thing on your mind, and that's big leagues. You got one thing you're exposed to. All your friends do it. All your family's behind you, support you. They only know you for doing that. So it is who you are, right? So you got to do that work when you're done to detach and kind of figure out who I had to figure out who Terry was after the game with the cleats on, and figure out who I was after. So I would say it was a tough time, but it was a good tough time because it propelled me to do things that I would have never thought I would do. Like I immediately started school. Um, just recently graduated like a month ago.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
um, started school, and then I started coaching travel ball. And like people say like, "Oh, you a travel ball coach," but like they don't really understand that like team elite travel ball in Georgia is like I was getting paid 12 months like a regular job to do travel ball. Um, and I did lessons, and so I was able to get my baseball fix, but I also wasn't. It was so weird though because like I'm sure guys that like can't turn a game on and watch it, or like couldn't when they were out of the game. Like I was not that guy. Like I turned the game on and watched it and loved it, and like it was weird though. You know what I mean? Like I knew the time was up. Like this is out of your system, but like I also like what's next? So it was just a crossroads, man. So got into the lessons and coaching, and then kind of just kept elevating to where I'm at now.
Dang, bro, dude, I I really wanted to talk to you about like obviously that promise that you made to your mom and like being
Yeah,
able to graduate and like so many high school kids, man, like don't realize how much college could do for you, even
oh
in the
my
sense
gosh.
of like being a you don't have, it doesn't matter when you do it, how you do it, but just doing it and getting that experience and getting that knowledge from, like, even if it's right or wrong, right? Like, you just learn so many things by going through that grind. Like, when did that settle in for you that you're like, yo, I'm going back to school? Was that always a plan because of that promise that you made to your mom? Or like, when did that
Uh,
really come about?
it wasn't always in my mind, because I mean, as a player, it was always big leagues or bust. Like I don't
Yeah.
have a plan B. So, when that plan derailed, and I was kind of spit out into the regular world, it was like, okay, well, let me at least, you know, entertain the thought of it, because I also was ready to get my own place, right? So part of the the college scholarship plan is for a high school kid is living money. So
Mhm.
that was a kind of the attraction part to it, like I can get my own apartment if I do this, So um started to do it, and like my mom, my parents are very like understanding and very realistic. Like, yo, you've been out of high school for 3, 4 years now, 2, 3, or whatever. Well, it's like 6 years at that point. 6 years at the point. My mom was like, it's gonna be tough to go back and take the SAT, ACT. So why don't you just go get a 2 year degree first? That way you don't have to, retake those tests. Take some easy classes, pick a degree that's good. So,
Mhm.
got the 2 year in IT, kind of grinded through that while I was coaching travel ball. And I was like, you know what? Like by that time, I was like, okay, I can kind of use this tech degree in either baseball or in whatever, because like tech's not going anywhere, obviously. So got the 2 year in that, and then just kept rolling through. Got to the end of the 2 year degree, and I was like, the tech is cool, but like it seems it's not a good fit. Like I tried to work at a tech job, bro. Lasted. I got one check for those people, and I was like, I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah.
I belong on a baseball field. I'm out. So ended up getting a more broader 4 year degree from that same school, which is Georgia Military. Got a business administration degree from there,
Ooh.
and I got my 4 year degree in business administration. I had some help. I did a lot of work, man. But like you said, like it's not how you get it done, but like it's just that you get it done. So I got it done. Um, some late nights early on, but like obviously it got easier as I moved forward and took less hours and everything like that. But the initial attraction to school started through my living money. So
That bread, bro. I got you. Come
yeah, I
on.
was able to live rent free, man, and that's different. It's different feeling.
Oh man, dude. And it's crazy, right? Because if you really think about it, you went from being a high school kid to then a full-on professional athlete. Like, you weren't
Hmm.
like half a professional, like you were full-on paid professional athlete, and then going back and starting school from the beginning. Like,
Hmm.
that's a testament to like your maturity and your selflessness to be able to put yourself back in that situation. It's humbling, bro. It's a humbling experience, I'm sure, right?
Absolutely, man. I tell people all the time, like, we'll get into like me pro coaching and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I went from being like everybody's asking what I need to like me asking what everybody else needs. Like as a mentality, like not literally, but like just how you live your life. You wake up and get catered to. Like everything is brought to you as a player. Everything's like set up. Like you're just set up to just show up.
Yep.
And then like you go from that to like you got to do the setting up. That is a very different experience.
Boy, is it hard.
I know you know. You're just
Oh,
like, yo, like you mean I can't just show up and it's already done for me pretty much? Like what?
bro. Dude, that's exactly. I mean, I'm going through it now. This is my first full year out of it, and I'm like, dude, I gotta ask somebody for help. Like, I gotta ask. Like, they're not asking me for help anymore. Like, it hits you, bro. It hits you hard, man. It's
Oof,
not easy. It is
no doubt.
not easy.
No
It is
doubt.
not easy. All right, bro. Talk to me about now. Obviously, you graduate, you fulfill
Hmm.
that obligation, obviously, and talk about getting into coaching. How did that go? Where did you
Yeah.
start? How did that even come about?
Yeah. It was from the travel ball thing, myself and Randolph, my best friend, we were coaching like not rival organizations, but we were coaching two different organizations, basically living the same life. Um, and we just kind of had this realization, like if we want to live the life that we want to live and eat how we want to eat and shop and live the lifestyle that we want to live, like it's not going to come from travel baseball checks and lessons. Um, you have to own an organization to make that type of money from travel ball. So that wasn't in the cards for me or him. We were just like, yeah, I don't see myself owning or trying to start that business anytime soon. So let's pursue professional coaching. So he was kind of already had the ball rolling. But I was like, I kind of hopped onto it, and this was 2021 um, fall, going into the fall. So there's a hiring window in professional baseball in October. A lot of guys don't know that. So October is like October, November is like when the most movement happens and everything. So I'm applying to everything possible. I'll rewind a little bit. So I got invited to a conference where like it was a scouting conference. Was told like, hey, if you want to work in pro ball, like this is where you should go. So I go there with like resumes in hand, like ready to just pound the pavement, shake hands, and whatever, right? Kind of really ready to go into the interview on the spot if I have to.
Yeah.
Um, but it turned out to be more of just like a fellowship thing for guys that were already working there, like just to catch up, like a reunion type of environment as opposed to like a hiring event, you know. So
Mhm.
I come out of that kind of like discouraged, like that didn't work, like that's swing and miss, So I go home after that and I'm just applying to everything possible from video coordinator, assistant video intern, to scouting fellowship, scouting apprentice, coaching apprentice, whatever. So I'm willing to just get my foot in the door because I believe that I'll be fine once I get there type of mentality, right? So
Yep.
nothing materializes. So I end up taking a job. I'm talking about Willie. I'm applying up to Thanksgiving Day on my grandmother's couch in Florida, like just grinding, bro. Just trying to get in, like just relentlessly applying to every. I applied to all 30, like every team
Wow.
in some form or fashion. Somebody has my resume in every team. So, um, end up taking a high school job at Buford High School, which is a Georgia high school. Um, and you there? Oh, there you go. Oh, okay. You froze up a little bit, but end up
My bad.
taking a job there as a hitting coach. So I go into the winter time. You good? I go into winter
Yeah.
time, running their programs. So we, huh? Okay, you got me. Okay. So then we, I go into the season with them, and I'm working a part time job at Lulu, and then I literally get a call from the Mariners, and it's like a job. It's like goes into an interview. I'm like outside of a lesson at this point. Like I'm outside of a lesson, and the interview happens, and I mean, like they just go right into like rank this and this on your list, like launch angle, exit velocity, and something and swing decisions. Like I had to rank that on the phone with a guy that I've never seen, whatever. So that's like an interview. And my brother had just gotten hired by San Diego. So at this point, so like I got the
Wow.
pressures on. At this point, I'm like, oh, Randolph had just gotten hired. So I'm like, I can't be left. Like I gotta do this. Like I gotta succeed, right? So, and he kind of gave me tips like teams who like you are really interested in you are going to show interest, and like you're gonna hear from them more frequently. Like you're gonna hang up and gonna be a couple days past. Like call a couple days past instead of like weeks, in between. Bro, lo and behold, that happened. Seattle calls out of nowhere. Hitting question, kind of short interview, hang up. I go into lesson. 2 days later, another call. Done. Lululemon. I'm at work, get an offer from two places. So at this same time, I've been talking to Oakland to be like a part-time guy in Atlanta, a part-time scout. So this is a scouting
Mhm.
offer, and then Seattle calls with a coaching offer. So I had kind of conditionally, verbally accepted Oakland. And I'm like, because I was like, that's my first thing. I'm like, the first person that calls, first people that call,
I'm
I'm
in.
on it. I'm on
Yeah.
it. Because it was like, you could keep your team elite stuff and just do part-time stuff and do like underclass stuff. Perfect. Whatever. It'll get my foot in the door with scouting, whatever. Seattle called and it was to be on the field. And I was like, oh boy, like I think I still want to be on the field. So end up calling Oakland and just kind of like explained how it all happened. And the guy that worked with Oakland scouted me. He's a young guy, young black guy, African American guy. So we connected on all the levels. And he understood. Like he understood. Like I was on the phone with like big dogs, like national guys for Oakland, like welcoming me. Like I was going through this process, and at the same time, here comes Seattle. So took off and did that, bro, and had the best time I could ever imagine as a coach, ever, ever. Man, I worked at the complex, and I was on a player contract, so I was considered a player coach. Yeah,
What? No way.
yeah. It's like a protection for the org. So where like a first year guy with no experience, you want to
Mhm.
make sure they are a good fit, and you want to make sure that that person wants to do it. So instead of me locking in on a full time contract, they just locked
Uh,
me in. You see what I'm saying? So I
like
basically
a free
I
agent. You
started getting
signed like a free agent, basically.
yes, but I was a coach. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was so basically like all my money got like condensed into like 6 months, and I was getting like the biggest checks and like
Oh boy, you was
and I was just like, oh my gosh, bro, like this is it's like imagine you know this feeling if I describe it to you. Like imagine being a player, prepping the guys, like you're just like a helper, getting these guys ready. You have the same kind of fun, same kind of vibes, but then like you don't have to play.
oh, that's fire, cuz. You don't gotta strike out. You don't gotta go over. You don't got
You
none
don't
of
break a bat. You don't break a bat. You just
everything.
so I started
You
out
got a
coaching
fungo and a
first.
glove, bro.
Yeah, bro. And you just and all the kicks you want to wear, like all that stuff. So
Yeah, yeah, fire. You got fire on your feet, working out. You got biceps and
uh,
all.
fire, bro. So I ended up starting coaching, first base, and then like I just kept, diving in and just like trying to show interest, and because all that is about showing effort, bro. Like you just got to show value, bring value, and then before I know it, I'm coaching third. I get like kind of like the promotion to coach third. I'm giving the signs, yeah, bro. So it was just like that was the most, bro,
Really?
unbelievable time at the complex, yeah, bro. And the complex is like games start at 6. All games are like 15 minutes apart, 20 minutes apart. So like I'm living a regular life, so to speak. Like you don't have to really be to the yard until like noon, unless you want to lift. So I was getting there like 10 o'clock, and
Chilling.
my first meeting not to like 1. So like I'm in the best shape of my life, like playing golf, and like I mean,
Oh,
unbelievable.
that's a dream, bro. That's
Yeah.
that's baseball without the offers, bro.
Oh my
That's
gosh. Yeah, man. Exactly.
oh, dude, that's so much fun, bro. That's sick. And then, bro, how did you transition now into the scouting role? Because like obviously that's the year that you're coaching, but like how did now scouting come about again? Like how did that
Yeah.
happen? Like so quickly
Unbelievable.
too,
Kind
bro.
of crazy. Yeah. Craziest story ever. So the scouting director, after the draft, we get the new draft guys in. The scouting director comes out, and basically is giving us a rundown of all the players, right? So, and he goes outside and he's like throwing BP to his own kid. His own kid's like 16, 17, going through the draft process now. And our scout director had another son with last year in the third round or second round, something like that. So he's a dad going through the same thing. So I'm outside like setting up outfield stuff, and he's outside throwing BP, and like him and his kid are like arguing and just going at it, and like just dad son stuff, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I just something was put on my heart and head to just say, "Hey man, like my name's Terry McClure." He's like, "Oh man, you from Georgia? I just heard about you. Just first year guy." It's like, yeah, and I was like, just want to let you know, like down the road, I plan on getting into scouting as an older person, like as an older guy. I feel like it's using the field to set me up and just kind of know what to expect, what to look for when I go scout, right? And he was like, "Oh man, take my number, whatever." Perfect, got his number. He comes back for the PG All American game. It's out there now, AZ, Chase Field, bro. And like 2 days before he came back, our PD people had like gave or the org had gave us a collared shirt as like a gift. Like just put it in our locker, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Get a new shirt. He comes back and I just like, hey, his name's Scott. I was like, hey Scott, you mind if I go to the PG All American game with you? Just want to see how you guys. No worries, man. Come down. Again, something on my heart just said, put the collar shirt on, take the polo, put the polo on. Don't look like an idiot. Don't go down there in some Lulu
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
deal. It's not the vibe for that. So just having that awareness, bro, like super grateful for it. And then I go down there, and I'm sitting there with like four guys that like are big dogs that I know now. They're like national guys, right? So, and they're asking me about the guys we just took because I had been in the ACL with them. I had been in the game with them coaching
Oh,
third,
yep.
So I just started like basically giving like scouter reports that I don't even realize. And I'm like, I'm talking about the money guys, I'm talking about all the guys. So we get to this one particular guy, and I'm like, I don't think, I was like, he's strong. I was like, but he's got to make some changes before AA. Like he's gonna have to make some changes. And I promise you, bro, like it was a dead silence. And like one guy turned around and like looked at me like this. And I was like, I either just got fired or
They
something
love
good's
you.
about to happen. Yeah. So he was like, man, I totally agree with every word you said. And I was like, oh, I just kind of broke down a player, right? So from that point on, it was just like, what do you think about this? 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 So, we go home that night, obviously nothing, no job offers or anything. The scout director starts blowing me up, dude. Like, and I'm texting my brother, like, yo, this is not just anybody. Like, this is the scouting director. Like, that's, the magnitude of that position. Like,
Yeah, bro.
yo, this is not just another area guy. Like, this is the
Nah.
scouting director. So he's like, he ends up saying, like, hey, man, we all think this is a no brainer. Like, if you really want to scout, like, let's do it. Willie, just so happened the Georgia and South Carolina guy, the same time is transitioning out to he's transitioning to another org. He's with the Rangers now. Like his family needed to be in Florida for his wife's side of the family, so like they could. We got two other guys in Florida, so he was leaving where I'm from.
Wow, bro. And it
So
was
he's
just
like, yeah. So basically, he was like, hey man, like the job's yours. Like the job's yours. He basically
you're
gave
the
me
guy. That's it. You're the Georgia guy.
he
You're the
gave me
Georgia.
a pick. He honestly gave me a pick between Georgia. Oh, he said Northern California and Oregon, SoCal,
You said no, thank you.
SoCal, and Georgia, South Carolina. At first, I'm not gonna lie to you, I said SoCal because I was like, I want to see that part of the country. Never seen that. He was like, to this day, I'll thank him for every time I see him. He said, just bear with me. He's like, I understand you want to see that part, but like first year scout salary, going out to Southern California is not gonna go far.
Boy, that
Any
ain't.
salary, any salary doesn't go far in SoCal.
I'm about to say, bro, unless you're working for Google and you're the CEO, I don't
Yeah,
know if I'm paying for nothing over there, bro. You would have been
yeah,
living in
bro.
the shoebox.
Exactly, exactly. So then he was like, he kind of gave me like, you kind of see where I'm pointing to. And I was like, you want me to go home? And he was like, yeah, I think you should go home. So that's it, man. That's how that happened.
Wow, dude, that's first of all, that's good that he did that, bro, because that
Isn't that
is
a crazy story? That's a crazy story.
wow, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome though, man, to like have a guy because obviously, bro, Southern California sounds amazing, right? Like
Yeah.
San Diego, LA, bro, you're gonna be boy, you wasn't gonna be in a pretty spot doing that.
Nothing. Yeah.
Oh man. That
Yeah,
is
bro.
unbelievable, man. And how's it been? How's the transition been into being a scout and like
It's up and down, to be honest. Like just to be completely transparent. Like some days like I still miss competing. I still miss developing guys day in and day out. I was a fortunate, super blessed to be able to change a kid's life in my first year. I got a first round pick and a 6th round pick. Um, kid got $2.5 million, and I promise you that felt better than my name getting called. Like, because you just know like what he went through even more. Like you just got that clarity of like everything he's feeling, and to change his life like 10, 20 times more than I ever could for myself is like, bro. So it's been like super highs, and then like some days I would sit there in the field at the field and just like itch to be out there and itch to like compete and just help those guys grind through the day to day ups and downs of the game. So it's torn. My heart like is literally 50-50. Like because I'll probably always want to compete in anything baseball related. Like so it's just I got to look out for the long term and just kind of always look at the bigger picture and not be like so we sometimes we all say like one step at a time and look right what's right in front of you, but like in some situations you have to look at the bigger picture and understand like long-term success matters way more. Like you know I want to be good in 10 years instead of like good for like a quick 24 months. So that's
Oh,
just kind of the mindset.
oh, T,
Yeah.
could you have imagined? Could you have imagined at 13 years old, bro, that kid playing for East Cobb, like this ride would have gone the way it did?
Bro, I used to have like scouts used to like kind of like annoy me a little bit, like chasing me down, like chasing guys down, like kind of like annoying us in a way for like information, right? But like I have an all new outlook and like compassion for like a scout, bro. Like these dudes that do it 20, 30, 40 years, like raise kids while doing it. It's like, bro, you are an unbelievably hard working soul that just loves and has a passion like no other. Like because I was beat some days. I got beat by this thing some days, like just wanting to just like stop and just like, yo, what am I doing? Or just go back to that comfort zone of travel ball or like lessons and just like having to just like fight myself to understand like you gotta stay good and be good because you're gonna be good for a long time, like for a long term, like you just gotta that's such a hard thing for us to grasp that long term success, man. Like instant gratification and instant comfort is like the biggest trap right now for me. So, but yeah,
Stay
man,
uncomfortable.
that 13-year-old kid, boy, I could just tell him and just like, bro, you've done a great job. You will do a great job, and just I get chills, bro. Like, just stay the course.
Dang,
Stay
bro.
the course.
It's so real, man. It's so real because I
Yeah,
get those feelings too, bro. I get those feelings of like, damn, let me just like quick money, fast money, like in a sense, right? Like you're like, oh, I could just do this, I could just do that. But like now looking back, if you really think about it, like look what got you to become a professional athlete. Like this is what I do. I sit back and I say, all those days in the batting cages, all those days training, not getting paid anything at all, right? Like all those tournaments, all those things that pushing till really it took you how many years since you started playing till you actually got paid for playing? How long did it really take? So like now that you're looking at really what has it been? 2, 3, 4 years
2
since you've
years.
really been like grinding at what you're doing now. So like and you're already getting paid for it, like
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's nothing, bro. You haven't done anything yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so don't jump because if you
Don't jump.
jump, yeah, because that's what the easy route is. Like everything, right? We did the hard route at the beginning. Now we want to pick the easy route. No, no, no. Stay on the hard route because that's the one that's fulfilling. That's the one that gives you what nobody else has, right? It's the road less
Absolutely,
traveled.
no doubt, man. Like that. So much stuff is starting to make like so much sense, and you just starting to just like you remember those like old sayings and like talks and lines from your dad and your mom, like the road less traveled is like. I'm going to the big leagues. I'm not listening to that. Like, I don't care about that. There's no plan B. Like, but understanding that the opportunities that have been like presented to me and like the ones that I've been able to just like take advantage of is just all because I was never a bad dude. I always like had fun, and I come from a good family that rub people the right way, and just like always kept my nose clean out of trouble. So like I try to preach that to a lot of kids now. Like, yo, like you're first of all, when you're a player, you're not just playing for the org. You're playing for everybody. You know that, first of all,
Oh boy.
firsthand. Second of all, like everything you do is being watched and will be remembered, because like people don't remember what you do or say, they remember how you make them feel. So it's like I obviously didn't even realize that like I left a good impression. I was just being myself, and like I just am so grateful for my parents, like my upbringing, and like them raising me to respect and my elders, and read the room and like have awareness, like because that stuff gets taken advantage of, and it gets overlooked, and it gets forgotten about, and people don't understand. People who are well more educated than me, like all the check all the boxes, but like those little things like reading the room, awareness, and just like how you make people feel or how your tone of voice is, like may ruin everything. And it matters that all the other stuff does not matter. So
Yep.
that's where I'm at, dog.
Dude, you're killing it, bro. You're
I
killing it.
appreciate you.
Keep going, bro. Keep going the right direction, bro. You're gonna continue to do what you do, what you've always done, bro. And like, we're gonna do this again in a year or so, and like, it's gonna be even better,
Absolutely.
right? It's gonna be a bigger, better story. So like, I'm proud of you, bro. I'm proud of you. Proud of you. Proud of
Bro,
you.
I'm
To keep
I'm
doing
proud of you, man. Like this is super cool to do. Like I remember like I remember meeting you, and I was like, after I was released, we were all like, bro, that was a new wave of outfielders.
it.
We were like, it was a few of us like, yo, that was our replacement. So what do we do? We're out of here. But I was like, nah, bro, Willie, like I always heard, and I remember you from FTB and
Yeah, yeah.
through Jacob, and bro, you have you're in the right spot doing this, bro. Like
Thank you, bro.
I wouldn't like I would do this for anybody, obviously, but like when you reached out to me, I was like, I've been wanting to do this. Like
Oh, bro, that's
I've been
amazing.
wanting to do this. Yeah, bro.
Dude,
Like
thank you
this is
so
a
much,
cool,
bro.
super proud of you, bro. Keep going, because they're changing people's lives financially through this podcast stuff, this podcast world. Um, and anything you need from me, bro, like any connect, like anything, bro, please don't hesitate, bro. Seriously,
Thank
like
you, bro. Thank you, man. I mean, bro, honestly, I'll give you my goal here with this, bro. Like, I want to be able to change somebody's life, one person's life, bro. Like, I like selfishly, like, of course, I want to be successful with this because I like it and I think I'm pretty good at it.
yeah,
But I wanna change a kid's life, and hopefully somebody hears it, that if I could change one person's life, bro, my goal was successful. And I'm trying to my other goal is getting to 100. I want to get to 100 by the end of the year, and this is number 50, I believe. So I'm halfway there. So I want to be able to get to 100 by the end of the year. So, bro, honestly, what I ask everybody is like, whatever person you think I should get on and that you might be able to connect me with, please, bro, get
absolutely.
me in there, connect me, whatever it is, and I'll try to get it done. And I could do anybody at any time, like, and it's
Yeah,
all
for sure.
virtual, right? Like, I do them
Yeah,
in person too, but if they're away, if they're not here in Miami, I could do it anywhere, right? So,
yeah,
bro, whatever you can do, whoever you think would be good and a good story to tell. Again, bro, I love that too, because I just want to motivate somebody or change somebody's life, bro. Really. So
no
I
doubt.
I thank you for that, bro. That means a lot.
For sure, man. I love me some Miami, boy. I gotta get down
Oh, let's go, bro.
there.
I just told Jacob, I'm like, bro, you coming down to see Messi? Like, 'cause I know he loves soccer,
Oh yeah, he does. We gotta get down there.
bro. It's crazy.
Ooh.
This man is going off too, bro.
Yeah, he's got like 8 goals already.
Yeah,
So
bro. He's ridiculous. I mean, it's
yeah,
not even
he's on a
fair.
playground. Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I mean, obviously, he's used to a different level of play, and like,
yeah.
he's just playing around at this point, but he's playing around for a lot of money. That's for sure. And he's
Kicking
in
it,
Miami.
literally. Yeah,
And he's in Miami. He loves Miami though. He already had a house here and stuff like that. So And he just bought another one, obviously, whatever. But that's beside the
that's
point.
nothing
Right.
to him.
Yeah, that's nothing to him. But he does like it here, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have him here,
That's
man.
cool, man, for sure.
Oh, no, but hey, thank you so much for this, bro. This was awesome. We went 1 hour and 40, bro. So
I don't care, man.
yeah.
It's all good. I appreciate you for having me.
No,
Sure.
bro, I appreciate you, bro. This is a movie, bro. Thank you.
Yes,
I'll have
sir.
it. I'll try to get it edited up and post it as soon as I can.
Perfect. Just let me know so I can go check it out.
Of course, bro. Hold on. I'm feeling good. At least feeling great. Yeah.